Hey guys, wanted to talk today about coming back from an injury. How do we reintegrate that movement or movements into our exercise or into workouts? So taking a step back, if you have an injury going on, we definitely want you to do the rehab version, so don't let that preclude you from coming into the gym or meet with myself or Jeff or Kevin or Rob or one of the coaches, Colin, Mallory, whoever it might be, to get some ideas as what we can do to work around that. But once you're starting to feel better, starting to feel recovered, maybe you've gotten clearance, you can go into the PT to start reintroducing things. We wanted to give you a little overview of how to approach that. Yes, we could definitely be involved in that process and want to be involved in it, but we might not necessarily always be able to have a 10-minute conversation before a class, or you might just be wanting to do something at home, or you might be on vacation, and this is intended to help you make good decisions as you progress back to full strength, so that you don't run into aggravating something or maybe possibly making it even worse than it was before. So we put up 3 different categories to work your way back from an injury. The first category, it talks about movement. The second category talks about loading, so weight as well as reps. And the third category talks about intensity. So we're just going to work down from piece to piece. Movements, we want to think not all movements are created equal when it comes to how they affect our body. What we're talking about here is specific towards the shoulder, so we're using the shoulder as an example. Different movements put different strains, require different range of motion, move fast, move slow. So we've categorized a few different representatives of 3 classes of movement. The first level is the most, we should say, accessible, and then the third is the last that we want to be able to be reintroducing into the exercise. So number 1 includes movements like dumbbell strict presses, ring rows, landmine presses, so that's where we're kneeling on the ground, pressing out front, dumbbell bench press. Again, this isn't an exhaustive list, as well as some people might find that movements from number 2 fall under number 1 and vice versa. This is really dependent upon you as an individual, but this is just, again, to provide an example. These are the most accessible ones. We want to play around with these movements. We're taking into consideration that we're assuming mechanics are on point, all right, so we're moving well, our shoulders are positioned well, we're not rounded forward, shrugged forward, elbows out. Doesn't matter what the movement is. If we move poorly, we're going to re-aggravate what we had going on before. All right, so we're assuming really solid mechanics. With that said, we introduce one movement at a time. Right? Maybe today you try a ring row. How does that feel in the shoulder? Feels great? Awesome. We know we can check it off the list and we can try something else in a future workout. If it didn't feel great, we know maybe we need to wait a little bit further down the line to stage 2 or 3 to retry that movement. But again, we're progressing from left to right. We try the movements that fall in category 1, then we try the movements in category 2, and then last comes the movements in category 3. These movements down here, again, those require a big range of motion on the shoulder. They require a lot of force development, and they're really rapid, quick movements, or with the dip, for example, a big range of motion. We want to save those until we've reintroduced some volume, some weight, some more basic controlled movements until those come down the line. So we would just work left to right. The next one is loading. We don't want to just go back to what we were doing before injury. We need to be progressive and smart and gradually work our way back to full strength. So option number 1, or I should say number 1, is working with low weight and or low reps. So let's say you want to play around with let's use dumbbell bench press, for example. That's going to be one of the first movements, let's say you reintroduce to your shoulders. You wouldn't just grab dumbbells and try to establish a 10 rep max or a 20 rep max. You're going to do 5 sets of 5 with maybe 15-pound dumbbells if that's a light for you, or 20-pound dumbbells. And you're going to see how that feels. If it feels great, awesome. But we don't want to overdo something, because if that felt really bad, imagine what would have happened if you did 5 sets of 10 reps at 50 pounds. It would have really put a lot of stress on that shoulder. So we're going to start low weight, low reps, and then we're going to progress towards the right. So maybe next time, if that felt fine, we're going to go 5 reps of 10 at the same weight, or 5 reps of 10 at 30 pounds instead of 15 or 20. And we're working our way up, higher weight, higher reps. So then again, maybe we're doing 5 sets of 5, but we're using 45s. Or maybe we're doing 5 sets of 15 with those 20s or 30s. So this doesn't mean we have to do both moderate weight and moderate reps, it's just interchangeable there. So again, left to right. We progress left to right up here, progress left to right down here, and then last,
progress left to right when it comes to intensity. So intensity relates to fatigue. For example, if we introduce that dumbbell bench press, we start with 5 sets of 5. You should rest as needed between sets. We're not in a rush. We're not trying to complete these reps as fast as possible. We're testing the movement. We're seeing how our body responds to it. Next, maybe we have a small amount of fatigue. Our heart rate is up a little high, or we haven't fully recovered from the previous set. So an example of that might be a EMOM. Every minute on the minute, you're going to alternate between 5 dumbbell bench press on 1 minute and 15 calories on the bike on the other minute. So now your heart rate's up, you're a little tired, but you still do have some recovery between those movements, and we're still in the low rep range. If that all checks out there, you've done that a few times, maybe you've even introduced that dumbbell bench into the start of a workout. So let's take today's workout, for example. Maybe you started on the row, you rode 30 calories, and the next movement you did was 15 dumbbell bench press. Again, there wasn't any rest built in from movement to movement, but it was at the start of the workout, so there wasn't a tremendous amount of fatigue. We try that. If that all checks out, then we incorporate it into a traditional workout. So let's say example here would be 5 rounds of 20 calorie row and 10 dumbbell bench press. Again, we're working in longer through the workout. The reps are a little bit higher, the volume is higher, and we're seeing how our body responds there. So again, in summary, we want to think of it as these 3 different parts. They work together. We progress from left to right. It doesn't necessarily need to be all here, then all here, then all here. You might pick, as we used in the example, the dumbbell bench press, and keep that simple and work with low weight for low reps, and then maybe it's low weight for moderate reps, and maybe it's low weight for high reps. We just want to be smart and consistent and specific in our approach to movements to see which ones we can reintroduce, which ones we need to wait on, and we hope that this helps give you an overview of how we would approach this with you in class as we progress back towards full health.